Hey guys, welcome back to Good Enough Garage. On this episode, we continue the search for the perfect shifter for the Electruck. If you've been following along, you know that this is the OEM Lexus GS450H shifter that I pretty much ruled out in the last episode. And to find out why I did so, I asked you to go back and rewatch it. I'm not going to bore you to death with those details. So having eliminated this one, what were our other choices? Well, I've been hoarding shifters over the last year or two, going to pick and pulls, and anytime I found something that I thought would work, I would pull it out and stash it. So the time has come to look at our contenders. I have three shifters to choose from. This first one is out of a Chevy Tracker. I had this sick mentality of kind of keeping it in the Chevy ecosystem, GM ecosystem, although I have parts on this truck from every car imaginable. So this was our first choice. Then I came across this one. And this one here is out of a Chevy Blazer. The nice thing about this one is that you can install this in a truck and operate it from your couch because it comes with this 85-foot cable. Anyway, all of these are front cable operated, meaning that the cable protrudes forward out of the shifter instead of back like what used to be in the truck. And then I have one more. Yep, save the best for last. This beauty is out of a Corvette. It is just absolutely, mint. So I cut my teeth on this first one from the Tracker, but I kind of ruled it out because on this one, it just so happens, and I expect them all to be the same way, the shift pattern is reversed. So when the shifter is forward, the way this cable wraps from the front, it actually makes the lever go forward, I believe, on our transmission, Lexus transmission, which puts us in drive. So it's the opposite. Then when we pull this shifter back, oh, come on, it's going to make me look bad. How the heck? I've done this a million times. Okay, you move the shifter backwards. Now we are in drive, and that moves the lever on our transmission back, so it puts us in park. So you get the idea. It's opposite. This cable out of the Chevy Tracker wasn't long enough to kind of loop it back around and make it operate the transmission from the rear like I should. And so I just didn't want to mess with it. I expected the same thing for this one, and I'm not even going to go into why we're not going to even try the Corvette shifter. I just got it so that I can say I have a Corvette shifter in the garage. So after I ruled out these three shifters, I asked myself, what would Damien Maguire do? And that's when I decided to go out and get a fourth shifter. Okay guys, having affixed this Nissan Xterra shifter to this Lexus GS450H gearbox using this Douglas fir adapter, we can now work on getting the cable connected. And I'll bring you in here closer and I'll show you how we can get this shifter almost perfect simply by using the ground strap bolt hole and one of the holes on the OEM shifter here, and that will get us in the ballpark. So let's do that. So this bolt here has the grounding strap for the transmission. Now it is important that you ground your transmission, but we can share this bolt or we can move the ground strap somewhere else. So we'll take the OEM bracket, has 2 holes on it. I think it's the second one here that gets us pretty close to where we need to be. And this isn't going to be the final mounting point. This is just to kind of get an idea. But I was surprised how well it worked. Okay. Now, so right now it is in park. And you can see that when we move to drive, this cable would push the lever forward like so, right? And if we put the lever in park, then it pulls the cable in, which is what we want. Now there is some adjustability here. It's actually pretty good right there. Okay, so that's reverse, and that is neutral, and that is drive. If I remove this, I can see that it aligns really well in drive, and I believe it aligns really well in park. I think where I'm having trouble is in the 2 middle positions, like reverse. The cable is slightly short, and then when I go into neutral, let's see here, did I lose my spot? So that's reverse, that's neutral. Oh, it's almost perfect. And then drive. So only, I think, see, this is what I was talking about, how close it is. Reverse, neutral, drive. And then whatever that does. So back to drive. Wow, I'm surprised how good that aligns. Okay guys, it's quite a bit of fandangling later. I want to bring you on an action here. Right now it's just held down with this one bolt to a bracket I made. This is technically the bracket I had for my B&M shifter that's been trimmed down. I think it works pretty darn good. So that's reverse, neutral, drive, neutral, reverse, and park. And so the way I check it is if you remove this, it should slip back on easily. So here we are in park, and that's nice and easy. We go to reverse, same thing, neutral, same thing, and drive, same thing, nice and easy on center. And this pin right here, I actually extracted from, so that pin was in here. This is from the Nissan Xterra lever. Okay, you can tell it's kind of shorter. So I have it a little bit higher than when it was in here. That's what this other hole attempt was for, but it didn't quite work well. Anyway, I pounded this out of here, and then I welded it on the back. So it's the exact right size, and I just need to put a cotter pin in there to secure it, maybe with a washer. What I'm going to do now is bazinga this with some welds. Put some welds on here. Hopefully they won't look too horrible, and we'll call it good. Okay guys, with the bracket drying in our climate controlled organic paint booth, aka on the trash can outside, it's time to move on figuring out how to mount this thing to my turtle shell, aka transmission cover. I was going to show you the welds on that bracket, but with the with my dime technique still patent pending, I don't want to risk somebody copying it without permission. So, price you pay for perfection. Anyway, let me unbolt this and see how we can mount it to the truck. Something I want to point out is the only reason I have this plate is because it comes with the brackets for the shifter cover, that plastic shifter cover, wherever that may live. Yeah, so this is going to get trimmed, but that's what this is for. Let's see. Did I already get this backwards or something? What is stopping it? Well, the camera must be rolling because I've put this on 5,700,000 times before. I don't know what is happening here. Something to this effect. Oh yeah. You get the idea. So, yeah, let's work on that next. Thinking out loud here, I wonder if it matters where this sits in relation to the shifter. If there's some leeway in it. I know it's adjustable here, so I have some play. Okay. Let me get this guy out of the way. Perfect. I have that light held on by some magnets, but I can't find one of them, so it's only on one side. Okay. And there's already a hole in the floor here, which I hope this will go through and work just fine. Trying to figure this out. Okay, I think already I need to enlarge this hole. Unless I can feed it this way, maybe I can feed it from the other side up. Yeah, that would be smart. Hey there, welcome back to Good Enough Garage. It's been a few days later, it's a day after Thanksgiving, and I'm stuffed with ham. And here I am still working on getting this shifter installed. I missed out on the opportunity of taking advantage of the warm weather, and now it's dropped down to what it be probably 45 degrees, which is like 7 or 8 Celsius for you guys in Europe and such. And so I'm not a fan of the colder weather, but I really want to get this done as the last part of phase 2 of the upgrades on this Electruck. So I wanted to bring you along and kind of start off with you guys as I start my day to give you a peek into the life of a dude, an EV converter, or just a car guy. A lot of times I get a comment of saying like, man, your garage is so clean. Well, it's not. I'm facing what I would think is about a 30-minute job here, and I'll probably spend 2 hours of cleaning my garage before I take this on. I'm not going to bore you to death with all the details of you watching me clean my garage, but I just kind of point out some things that have happened over the last few days and how quickly things escalate and get messy. So anyway, I'm rambling because I'm kind of procrastinating crawling under the truck. It's cold concrete and you know the drill. Anyway, I'm going to clean the garage and then I'm going to throw this truck up on some of my wooden blocks here and we'll get going. So I'm not sure if you guys can see easily way back here, but so I had a fellow EV conversioner reach out to me asking if I had some spare high voltage cable parts so that he can repair his damaged ones. And I said, sure, let me find them. And that's what caused this nuclear blast. But this is what I get for mixing orange high voltage cables with Lexus drive shafts. So that forces me to clean this up a little bit. So I'm gonna now put all this stuff back, but I'll have the drive shafts on the drive shaft shelf, and then I'll put the high voltage ones up there, and then other things blew up over here. I actually found my jack stands, which were mixed in with my drive shafts. So anyway, I gotta clean this mess up so we can get access this side of the truck. So let me do that, and I'll be back. All right, guys, let me use the shaky cam here to go over our game plan, okay? So I removed that aluminum plate off of this shifter. Maybe I'll just mount it directly to this transmission cover. But what I want to focus on is this cable. First of all, it has this bracket. This is part of it functioning because it makes the cable slide or the line slide inside of this housing. So that's important. That needs to be placed in the proper location. But I don't want to drill any more holes. This is a hole from my cable for the old shifter, the Turbo 350 shifter. And this one unfortunately is too big, okay? It's not gonna fit in there. And I don't want to enlarge the hole because I can just probably undo it on this end and just feed it from that angle, from the bottom up. So, and also what we're going to do is we're going to start working on this thing backwards, so kind of from the bottom up. I will mount the transmission bracket to the transmission and affix this end to the transmission, and then that's going to dictate maybe or suggest where the shifter should be mounted. So we're going to do it that way for better or worse. So here we go. Okay, so we need to do two things. First, take this cotter pin out. That actually slides out way too easily for a cotter pin. That's out, and this frees up our shifter. So that's great. I love how modular that is. And then now we need to take this, I forget what these are called, some sort of retainer pin slider thingy. Watch me struggle with this guy. Okay, we got that out, and that should come out. All right, beautiful. So see, that end is much smaller than this end, which should work great. Now I can feed it from underneath. Exciting stuff. Thanks for sticking around and following along with me. Okay, you guys are under the truck here with me. I have no idea what you guys can see, but we need to get the bracket for this cable mounted. So this is the bracket. And how in the world does it go? I think it goes something like this. This screw right here is for the ground strap. I am going to put it on later. Just don't want to fart around with it right now. That's hen tight. Maybe just get them hen tight for now. Okay, so that's there. And our modified shifter lever or bracket, whatever we want to call this, goes on next. Okay, and then this feeds through there, obviously. And on here. Something like that. Okay, that puts us in the ballpark. I can kind of assess the situation from upstairs now. Okay, so this is the situation top side. It's going through the original hole, so that's what we wanted. I'm going to slip this grommet on the cable. Oh, and so it doesn't get sheared on that sheet metal there. But let me put you up top and see what we can do on the top. All right, so on the top we have to put this cable back on, this retainer, and maybe I don't even need this piece because this is just to hold the center console, and I think I'm going to try to use my old one. So maybe all I need is just this guy here. I think I might do that. I might separate these now that I think about it. And then see if I can get this grommet over this. It's cold out. I should probably put this in like hot water to soften it up a bit. I may do that. Yeah, I'm gonna throw this in some hot water, and then I'm thinking about keeping my old console. Let's take a look at the consoles, and you guys tell me which one I should go with because they're significantly different. Okay, I'm gonna do a stare and compare on the consoles. So this is my old one, and this is the new one. So you can tell the difference, obviously. Significant size difference there. This one actually has a cutout so the cable can come up through here. I'll probably make some plastic cover for this to make it look nicer, but I think that's gonna work with that bracket. See if I can get it. So here's the bracket, and it used to go under here and hold this console down. So I don't really need to trim it, or maybe I do, but just to make it more aesthetically pleasing. This part just holds the console. It's only this section here that holds the cable. So I'm just going to drill these out and separate the two. So I already drilled those out, and now I'm going to use my favorite tool, hammer and a chisel. There we have it. Not bad. Okay, so now all we need is this piece. Okay, so I think this is going to work. I'm going to use these 1-inch spacers. Maybe if I can find something even taller, it would be better. This is just what I had. And now I'm trying to determine where to drill the holes in this part to mount this cable. This shifter happens to sit off to the side, so it's kind of ironic that I passed on the Lexus shifter because I would have to place it to the side, and then this one that I found that I like also sits to the side, but so it goes. I think that if I was to put this in the middle, I'm not sure if that would work. Maybe because again, it sits to the side, but the shifter seems to run in the middle of the tunnel. Would that work if I just dropped it in the middle? Interesting. I think we're just going to use our micrometer here and sort of call it good enough. Something along these lines right here is what I'm thinking. So I need to drill these holes and mount it with the spacers like this and go from there. Yeah, that might work. Okay, let's see if we can make this look good for TV. I'm gonna do one, and then off of that one, we're gonna try to position the next. This drill bit looks like it's just the right type. Yeah, it's a dull drill bit. I get it. Kind of tight. What the what? I got it right on the money? No way. Did I punch that one already? Okay, let's see how good we did. So the plan is that this goes like that and through. And like this and through. Perfect. I think that's maybe a bit low, bit of a steep angle. Might need to put some more spacers. Okay, guys, the cable is secure. It may work, it may not. I don't know why that's loose. Got to tighten that down, but it might be a bit of a steep angle. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna try to do some adjustments in here. Just see which gear this is in. Let me see if I gotta shift it into park. So I'm just gonna connect this with two bolts for now for a trial fit. Never fails. Okay, let's throw this in the truck and see what happens. Okay, probably just drop some bolts in here. Just to hold that down for good measure. Where's my cotter pin? Okay. Little adjustment here. I'll be really happy if this worked. Okay. I think we're shifting. Of course, this all can be fine-tuned later once it's bolted down, but I want to get in the ballpark here. Now I'm wondering if this transmission was not designed to shift quietly. That's reverse, neutral, drive. I think that's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. We can maybe get the lights to work on this too. I almost don't mind it just like that if I could close this off somehow. Something blackish. Or maybe we mount the cover for it. Call it good. Okay, let's keep at it. Well, fellas, we're making progress. Before we dive under the truck and I show you how I installed everything that I'm actually quite proud of, here is $60 worth of grade 8 hardware from Ace Hardware, my favorite hardware store. That just has gone bonkers. That used to be like 20 bucks, if that. Anyway, I apologize for the shaky cam. Let's dive under here. Hopefully you guys can see this, but this is an OEM clamp that kind of came with the cable that I modified a bit. And it's going through this hole with a grommet. But it's secure. It clears all the parking cables here, emergency brake lines. So I'm really happy with this. Give you a little light in there. Yeah, nothing exciting, but sometimes you spend a lot of time working on a truck and it's all underneath. No one will see it, so I'm forcing you to see it. The bracket is mounted. It's all good. All right, guys, you know, anytime you're shop vacatizing, it's a good sign. So here's R2D2 to help us out, vacuuming up this mess. I think shop vacuuming is the equivalent of fluids going in. Whenever fluids are going in back to the vehicle, you know that's a good sign. What do you guys think? Okay, fellas, we're going back in with the old center console, which is bigger. So let's see if I can get this in here. It really likes to catch on the seat belts. There we go. Okay. So I think this is gonna work. And I have these makeshift pedestals for it. I gotta prep these, and then I have to call my helper out here because Not sure if you knew this, but for a price of a Mongolian barbecue lunch, a trip to Dutch Bros Coffee, and a quick run by her favorite thrift store, my daughter agreed to help me with these bolts because I, for some reason, love to make these solutions where it takes two people to screw in a bolt. One has to hold it from the top and the other has to screw it from the bottom. Poor design, I know, but you know, it keeps my friends around. They just love helping. So let's see. These little pedestals hold this up. I already forgot how this really went. Looks like there might be different sizes too. Super. So that's what we're doing here. And these guys go under here like this, I guess. I don't know which way they went. I don't know what was top, what was bottom. We'll figure it out. But maybe I can do it. Must have done it once before. How hard can it be? Okay, let me call my daughter. Cross your fingers. Sweetheart, can I borrow you? Just four more screws. Come on. Okay. Hop in. Camera is rolling.
No, it's not.
It's rolling. Hop in there. Hop in there. Is this the right one? Maybe. Can you see what you're doing? You're holding, and I think the two in the front might be prepped already. I'm not sure about the other ones. Okay, looking good. Whoa. Which one are you doing? Huh? Do you see the one that I'm moving up and down? Okay, hold that one. Are you holding that one? Okay, that one is in there. Let's do its buddy on the other side. Are you pushing down on the screw at all? Here. Yes.
He's using me for clout. Did you need me?
Yeah, I need you. We're just getting started. Okay, here you go. You're gonna be the Bazinga one. You don't need that. Let's do the front ones first. Go for it. Go. Other side. Go. Good. Go. Good. And last one. Perfect. You're done.
You sure? Or are you gonna call me back out here?
You did great.
Why is it so long?
Thank you, Maggie. Excellent helper. Father and daughter bonding time. All right, some final touches here. We're gonna lock in this adjustment, and some of these are tricky because they're like backward thread, whatever, left hand thread. Should call my daughter back out here. She's a lefty. Why isn't this going? Okay, there it is. That one's tight. This one needs to go. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Daddy likes. Okay. So now we just have to put the cover on here. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Okay. Oh yeah. Now we're cooking with propane. I like it. These have screws right on these sides here. Okay, so I'm gonna get in there and secure the other side. You might notice that, let me get my laser pointer. This sits a bit high, and I ordered some trim that will probably show up a day after I upload this video. But also if I put some sort of carpet or a rubber mat underneath here, I plan to hide all that and make it look gooder. And then I do have a plan, a little teaser for what's gonna go up there. Let me know in the comments, should we do a 1980s style EQ for the radio that I don't have, or maybe a CB, or maybe a little display panel for our electronics, you know, what's going on when I'm charging, maybe a way to control the VCU, or just get some readouts on here. So a little display here. So it'll be a mixture of high tech with low tech. I don't know yet, but let me tighten those last few bolts, and then we're going to go for a test spin. And there you have it, folks. A little bit of hydraulics mixed in with a handful of tools. And what was that? Short 15 minutes later, we got ourselves a new shifter. Look at that beauty. I like it. I like it a lot. Seems quieter. So the next thing to do is lower this beauty down and open the garage and take it for a test spin around the block. What do you say? Let's do it.